Welcome back. We now join Abel as he drives through the streets north of downtown and heading further north, even. Um, Sitting next to him is Jack, who until recently has struggled with several problems regarding his humanity.
So, Jack, um, I'm glad you agreed to come with me on this little escapade.
Well, I'm gonna be good packmate if I don't help my packmates.
Uh, you seem to have left a good impression on Isaac.
Leave good impressions on at least one bloodline.
Oh yes, well, family.
My track record is, as you may imagine.
Well, brother, let me then just fill you in. Well, we're going to look and hopefully find somebody who's exceeded his or her mm, mm, capacity to withstand the pressure from the ones from the deep.
Cainite?
Uh, Not confirmed.
I see.
Might be kind, but judging from the vibes he gives, they give, uh, they seem to be rather invested into that vile power. Um, but well, everybody deserves a second chance. So we're just gonna get to that person if possible and have a little talk and see if they are really understanding what they're doing to themselves, to the world around them.
And if they're not,
Well, if they are not, then they are a threat to everything.
I see. Well, nothing to it but to do it, I suppose.
And as the streets pass by you, eventually, you begin to approach the area Isaac mentioned. Abel, what is it you expect to do as you approach?
I first will try to kind of feel the area, kind of like a bat would, but using my own attunement to this kind of corruption,
Mm-hmm.
and see if I can pinpoint the location.
Okay. As you drive through, eventually you stop momentarily. You rest back, close your eyes, and please roll me your flat discipline score for this specific power.
What Considering I have now that new thing, does that well,
It does not count as an additional dot,
okay,
no.
okay.
Fucking king. Okay. Um, so you close your eyes, you focus, and as the presence, essentially the sort of omniscient presence that never leaves you, um, as you become more aware of it looming over you, you eventually feel other presences all around, and a few particular strong ones coming from, in general, just ahead, not too far ahead. You'd say from experience, this is probably a few streets ahead. So keeping an eye for anything suspicious as you drive past the suspected area might yield results.
Okay, I'll continue driving.
Mm-hmm. And as you do,
Look for anything that might seem weird.
okay. Jack, quickly roll perception alertness, please.
Yep.
And as you both ride forward, you pass by a couple of shops that seem to be closed, a couple of living, um, or not living areas, what's the name? Residential areas. And begin to reach sort of this general school property. And as you approach, there's a number of kids that stayed around far past midnight. Some are clearly smoking joints. Some are, holding beers that they look too young to be holding. And Jack, you eventually notice that one of the teenagers, as they bring their cigarette up to their mouth, you notice that they have sort of a tattoo,
Hmm?
and something inside you sort of screeches at the side of it, almost like you want to reach out for it.
I guess we might have found our target. I kind of nod to the kid.
Hmm, a child. Well, no matter. Hmm. I will try to see if I can feel his sin.
Mm-hmm. Roll it.
Mhm.
Yep. As you focus and begin sensing um, what he, what his deepest regrets and um, most prevalent sins are, the voice once more whispers, almost with a deafening tone, into your ear. Abel, it's been a while. Out on the hunt, are we? Hmm. He is uh, far too innocent. He's never killed, never outright hurt anyone. Not really. A few thefts is the thing he most regrets. And the items stolen are questionably not worth the crime itself. You could nudge him in the right direction. Couldn't you, Abel?
I block him out and ask, Jack, why do you think he's our quarry?
Well, it felt like something my tenant would be interested in.
And do I get any general vibes from this person's direction?
General vibes, as in the vibes you were looking for?
Does he reek of the abyss?
Hello.
He reeks of the influence. Favor from these entities is not something you can sense. Only the fact that they are connected somewhere. And this kid definitely has some influence pressed upon him.
I see. Well, I guess we need to talk with them. With this kid in particular. So let's park and see if we can score some cannabis.
Oh.
Says Abel
I
in his most
might have
boomer voice.
I might have just need to ask for a fire.
Well, wouldn't that be ironic?
Well,
anyway, I park the car and get out.
Yep.
And start walking towards the direction of the kids.
Yeah. And as you do, a couple of them sort of spot you. They sort of, with one hand, tap their friends' shoulders, and with the other, they toss their cigarettes on the floor behind them, sort of stomp it out as stealthily as possible. The kid who has the tattoo does not throw his cigarette away, and instead just sort of watches the both of you approach.
I kind of put the businessman who's trying to get into the feel of the scene of the city vibe.
Yeah, the kids sort of just watch you approach. Some of them with sort of this awkward expression. The kid with the tattoo quite uncaring about what you're about to do or say. Sort of even blows a plume of smoke in your direction.
Well, I walk over and proceed to say, "Good evening, fellow kids. I would, I'm wondering whether you would help us party."
Most of the kids sort of chuckle to themselves. The kid with the tattoo sort of raises his eyebrows and takes another puff of the cigarette and says, "The hell do you want?"
Oh, what you got?
got some weed. Not for you though. I don't sell.
Oh, we're well, you could just point us to the right direction.
Well, and he sort of looks behind him at the school and then looks at you. Pardon me, princess, but like, do you think someone would be selling near a school at what time is it? He pulls his phone, checks it. 1 a.m.
Well, I presume there's not a lot of schoolwork going on in there right now. So, good time for other business.
The kid sort of finishes his cigarette and tosses it on the ground, and then says, "Ah, fine. Tell you what. I'll lead you to the guy that sells me some stuff. For 50.
Easy.
That sound okay with you?
I
Jack?
pull out. I pull out the money clip. It looks like way more than fucking 15. Like, here you go, and 20 is a tip.
So you hand him like the entire wad or just 50?
Nah, like $70.
Okay. He takes the money and says, "Cool. Right. Uh, just come with me, I suppose." And as he starts walking away, his friends sort of inquire, but he doesn't really listen. Just keeps walking.
Nice tattoo, by the way. Maybe you could point us to the direction of the parlor as well.
The kid looks at the tattoo and says, I guess. Yeah, it's just doesn't look like what I asked for."
What did you ask for?
I'll tell you for another 50.
Sure. Just buy something useful for it, okay? I give him $50.
I'll be sure the weed's good. And he pockets the extra 50 and says, "Well, I originally wanted a symbol from Doom, the video game, but instead I got this shitty knockoff stuff. It's fine. I'll just get it covered with something else later."
What does the tattoo actually look like?
So Abel, you can roll me into cult since you've seen some of this shit before.
Does it look ritualistic? If not, I'm like just ritualistic vibe, or
Well,
just like
you can roll if you think uh your assistance is needed, Jack. Otherwise, I can just give the results that Abel got.
I don't know if a mass assistant is needed. And we don't have telepathy, so I would probably roll for myself.
Go for it.
In the cult rituals.
Into cult rituals.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So, first things first, Abel. You recognize parts of the symbol. It's clearly very stylized, but it is like a legit, like, demonic symbol, for lack of a better word. You recognize it from some of the flashes of imagery you had before. You recognize it from one of your first visions of the presence of the demon you speak to, when you were laying down and you felt this presence standing right above you. While you didn't necessarily see anything, it was just pitch black. Um, for some reason, you remember seeing something like this carved into the shape that was standing right before you, even though you clearly didn't see anything at the time. Jack, you would have seen some symbols that sort of resemble this shape, although less edgy looking. And you would have seen them in rituals that relate to some parts of Abyss mysticism. Not Abyss mysticism rituals, but rituals that relate to Abyss mysticism. So stuff that either impedes Abyss mysticism or stuff that Abyss mysticism impedes in other scenarios. And as you sort of examine the... Oh, yeah.
Mind if I take a small picture of that tattoo?
The fuck for?
I want.
Is this some fetish of
I mean,
yours?
no, I just if I go to the parlor, they want the exact same one. I mean,
Uh-huh.
you might, you can remove it. I don't mind, but this looks cool for me.
Uh-huh. The kid sort of reaches into the pocket of his hoodie, takes out another cigarette and a lighter, lights it, and says, 150, and I'll let you take the picture.
You're getting rid of it anyway. So, let my
Good
friend at
point.
least.
Good point. Limited stock. 250.
The 50. How
Or
about 3?
350. Sure.
No, I'm I'm trying to dominate this as. I said free.
Oh.
FR.
Oh, free. Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to try and dominate him?
Yep.
Okay, roll for it.
It is manipulation, intimidation, and I have -2 difficulty. Persuasive applies?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Getting there. I kinda got it there.
The boys be haggling. Well, his fucking willpower is shit. He's a depressed teenager, so you're fine. Yeah, that's literally all except one successes. So yeah. So you basically look into his eyes, and you just, as soon as you say free, the kid sort of furrows his brows and then says, "Sure." He tosses a cigarette to the floor and pulls back the sleeve to show essentially the top of the tattoo that you saw and a bunch of other runes all across his arm. And he just shows you the entire sleeve and lets you take a picture of it.
wow, all from the same location?
I guess. Don't really remember. It started a while ago. Long project. Why?
Looks like rather dedicated tattoo.
Not really. Just take the picture.
No, I'm just committing it to the memory.
I'll take a picture. Hey, thanks. Nothing kinky, sorry. I've been just admired the artwork.
Yeah, whatever, sicko. You still want the drugs, or can I go?
I mean, yeah, no hard feelings. Just keep the cash. Uh,
Didn't
oh,
intend to give it back.
just tell us where you got the tattoo, and we'll be off.
Fine. How about this? And he looks through his phone scrolls for a bit, and then says, "Yeah, there you go." And he shows you a phone contact for a tattoo parlor that is about in the local area.
Cool. They open 24/7 or?
Nah, mate, nah. They close pretty late though. Maybe if you catch them tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. Well, thanks a bunch, and get yourself some weed.
Whatever.
Or maybe invest. If you invest, you'll get more money.
And as he sort of walks off, taking his phone and starting to scroll on it, he just sort of mutters, "Fucking boomers."
Ah, well, that went well. I mean, nice kid. Maybe we can bump by the tattoo parlor and see if they work late.
I suppose.
So I'll walk back to the car and hope the tires are still on.
You go back to the car and only the steering wheel is left. No, it's you get there and yeah, your car is fine.
It's a van, it's
Cool.
not a Merc.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks shitty intentionally. So I check the address on the Google cartographer thing application, or is it Maps? And
The boomer energy in this group is fucking immaculate.
Just fucking intensifies. To be
My
fair,
back hurts
we are
already.
both burned before the Second World. Nah, fucking bruh.
My back hurts already. Yeah, so checking online, you do manage to eventually connect the phone number to an actual address. And looking at it on Google Maps, you eventually manage to sort of trace where it is in comparison to your current location. It's not too far off. It's about a 5-minute drive.
and drive we shall.
And
And I'll keep the well, a bus star on.
Mm-hmm. And as you approach the address, um, yeah, you eventually reach this building with sort of an alleyway with a stairway going down, and there's a sign right at the top of the staircase that has the title of the tattoo shop. Um, and yeah, the stairs go down, and the entrance to the tattoo shop is basically in the basement of the building.
Do they still look open?
Nope.
well, we can
Does
make
there
them open.
does there seem to be any lights in the building, or
Hmm.
does the parlor itself have any windows?
So going into the alleyway, there are a couple of open windows to the inside with some, essentially some designs displayed. Um, but lights in the parlor don't really seem to be on. There are some lights in the building above it, but they're like way high above. It's like
Well,
if the person also lives in this building, they might be still up, but yeah.
uh, well, I will call the number.
Mm-hmm. You call, and it goes straight to voicemail with the voice of a guy saying that you can call in between this hour and this hour. Apparently, they seem to close at around midnight. Um, and yeah, that you need to make an appointment before you show up.
Okay. What about like the presence or the is there any traces of corruption in this place? I
Hmm.
mean,
So you focus once more, and I won't have you roll this time. You focus once more, and while there's no sign of corrupted entities, this place seems to be like dripping with corruption. It's everything that goes on in here is basically just a product of heavy demonic influence.
ooh, it's certainly the right spot. Now, I suppose we are unable to come back during the day.
Probably not.
So maybe we should knock harder. I'll just try if the
We
door
can
is
look up
open.
the person online. Social media are still a thing.
Oh, well, yeah. Does the information regarding the tattoo parlor have any names attached to it?
Yeah, you eventually find the name of one guy, one Joseph, and you find a few pictures of him. He's got this. Most of his head is shaved, except for like a very short mohawk. He's got tattoos going up his neck. A few piercings on his face. Clearly looks like the tattoo type. Um, the picture does seem pretty old though.
And those tattoos, are they recognizable as well? Do they look
Nope.
demonic? No.
It
Okay.
looks like 2007 big photography.
And what about, I mean, do we get like a residence for this guy if we
Hmm.
probably not?
Well, you. Where are you looking? Are you just looking in the?
I'll check up Facebook, Insta.
Okay. In that
Yeah.
case,
Maybe he's partying at night.
just roll me a very quick wits computer. Difficulty isn't very high. Just to
Yeah.
see if you manage to find where it is. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, looking through social media, it takes you a bit, but eventually you do manage to find an address that, after checking a few of his pages, seems to be coherent. So it's either an address he hasn't changed for a while, or it's his current address. And the address is essentially a few blocks just down the street.
An apartment building.
Yeah, I suppose.
All right. Before we leave, I'll just try and, you know, door handle and see if it's open.
Nope.
Worth a try. So, I guess it's back to the van
I
for
can walk.
another block.
I can walk,
Sure.
or I can drive, and you can walk.
Let us walk.
Okay.
Worst case, Leo is gonna perform some tire magic tonight.
Speaking of which, is Leo with you? Like following
Nah,
you, or is he in the car?
nah,
Is
he's somewhere.
okay.
Maybe even attending Isaac
Okay.
ceremony.
So as you walk down the street. Eventually, you do reach the address, and looking at the floor, it says so. It's in an apartment building. It's about 7 stories, and he's in apartment 4A. So you look at the fourth floor, and the lights seem to be on.
Looks like he's home.
For us.
I think, you know, we need an emergency tattoo, so let's go knock on the door.
Yeah. Let's continue selling the businessman shrine all of the sin of the city of End.
So, opening the door into the apartment building, there's a sort of an elderly man at the front, sitting at a desk. He seems to be watching, this tiny TV, and eventually he spots you coming in. He furrows his brows and looks at you inquisitively.
Just visiting a business partner. Good evening.
He clicks a button and the elevator dings open.
Much obliged.
So we
And-
get into the elevator. What's
and
the
I'll walk
elevator
behind
music?
Abel just in case there's a mirror in the elevator.
Sorry, Jack, what'd you say?
I'll walk behind Abel just in case there's a mirror. Just so.
And indeed
no
there
problem.
is, so you try to keep your stairway. This is something you notice, Abel. Jack, immediately as he notices there's a mirror, either looks straight down to the floor or looks to the door. He looks anywhere except the mirror. And you, yourself, looking at the mirror, can basically see your reflection, no reflection of Jack.
That's fancy. How will you know whether you have a bad hair day?
I have enough straight honest backmates to tell me. And I have a goal. He can tell me too. And I don't give a play.
Yeah, I suppose.
Then I turn my back to the mirror, I just fucking exhale.
Yeah. As the elevator reaches the fourth floor, Jack almost as if he's in a hurry, just pulls those old like sliding grates open and just exits the elevator. And Abel, you follow behind. And in this small area, there are two doors, A and B. You know him to be at apartment A.
Well, I press the doorbell.
The doorbell makes one of those very annoying sounds. And while there is light coming from inside, and once in a while you see like shadows of someone pacing, no one answers.
Da 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 da. No answer.
Well,
No answer.
I knock on the door.
Yep. You knock, no one answers.
And say whatever this guy's last name is, Mr. Guy. We need to speak to you. We are with the police.
Yep. Still no answer. Both of you can make me a perception alertness regarding your hearing.
Careful, please.
I suppose, yeah. It would apply here. Because, you've already knocked twice, nothing's happened, so anything that gives you information about what's going on might soothe. your paranoia. Are those your rolls? Both of those?
Yeah.
Okay.
7 dice.
Okay.
Mine's the 27.
So, as you sort of ask and knock, and you wait for an answer, eventually you do hear from inside a very faint sound of absolutely no bass, but very, very like raspy black metal, as if it's being played from headphones. And you can hear it from this side of the door.
So somebody is
just-
playing loud music.
Yeah. Should we just try to open the door?
Well, didn't work the last time, but I will try the handle again.
Just
Yep. You try the handle, and it seems to be open, or at least unlocked.
Oh, that's nice.
very
That's
considerate.
now 50-50. Well, I will open the door and step inside.
Mm-hmm. And as you open the door, you look inside, and there's this small entrance area with a couch, a very small TV on the wall, and at the end of this room, there is sort of a little desk with a bunch of sketches of very different symbols, all of which sort of give you that weird reach out vibe to both of you. And in the room, sort of pacing from side to side, with a pen on one hand and essentially a notepad on the other, sort of sketching once in a while and then walking around, sort of drumming to the music, is this guy that you've seen in the pictures, only his head is completely shaved and his face is essentially covered in these tattoos that seem very similar to the runes that you've seen. As you sort of gesture, eventually he does notice you and recoils and drops his pen, his notepad, his headphones fucking fly off, and he just almost shouts, "The fuck are you doing in my apartment? Who the fuck are you? Get out!"
Are you gonna give Abel a side eye? Like, going?
Are we both in the entrance hall now?
Yes.
Then I will slowly close the door behind us and flash a LAPD badge.
Hmm. Okay. Are you flashing an LAPD badge, or are you just? Is this a badge that I was unaware of?
This is a badge that
Ah,
is created by one
yes.
point willpower.
Mm-hmm. So you essentially just gesture, and the guy just says, "Fucking, don't you need a warrant or something? Hell's
If
this?"
we need to talk, not really.
You weren't answering the door, and the door was open. Didn't
Yeah, I
mean
was
to
busy.
frighten you.
I was busy.
Yes. Well, we were worried that something that may have happened to you.
Well, clearly I'm fine. Leave, please.
Well, we need to ask you about a certain tattoo that you have performed on an unfortunate person that we found this evening.
Okay, look, listen. It's all my fucking permits. I got them. Everything's in order. Everyone pays for this shit. I don't do tattoos on minors as principle. and any teenagers that fucking show up, they're above 18, but they usually still need a fucking parent's permission to get a big tattoo. If it's something small, I usually do it. No problem.
Didn't
What the fuck do you
didn't
have a
say
problem
it
with?
was. I didn't say it was a teenager. Oh well.
Well, yeah, it's
I mean,
usually what you lot go after, right?
but you have a. He had this really nice looking sleeve.
Yeah, I do sleeves once in a while. What about it?
Well, it can be connected to some other tattoos that have popped up, and we just want to tick you off the list. What is the source of
As you say this, his eyebrows sort of shoot up and say, bullshit. I'm the only artist that does this style, right? You haven't.
okay.
Have you seen people rip off my work?
Okay,
No
what
comments.
does what are his deepest darkest secrets?
Hmm. Okay. Roll for it.
Mhm. For some reason it says rolling the dice and isn't rolling
Oh,
any.
there we go.
Okay, there we go.
Sometimes it takes some time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the voice once more presses in your ear, and you hear the whispers. My, we're busy tonight, Abel. Let's see. And after a few moments, it whispers again. Uh, Accident when he was a teenager. Drunk driving. He killed someone. I don't see much else, Abel. I don't think this is your guy, but he could always be convinced to speak. I could check in there more deeply if you let me.
Look, man, we're not saying that somebody's ripping you off, or if somebody and probably you haven't done anything wrong, but we need to know the inspiration for these tattoos.
Sure. I guess. I mean, you can just look to that desk over there. I sketch them all the time. It's usually stuff that I get, random ideas about. Usually I fetch them out of my dreams or something like that, but it's it just comes naturally. It's not that difficult.
Are those good dreams?
They're dreams, man. The fuck do you want me to tell you? Does that matter?
Well, you might be chased by a pack of demons. You might be just jumping around the field and seeing the symbols.
Fucking demons. Well,
I don't know your
LAPD is
dreams.
gonna fucking put cuffs on an what, a fucking hellhound or something. What are we
Yeah,
talking about here?
we are a special department.
Very fucking special.
We are after the supernatural.
Yeah, I think maybe you missed the special bus too. Look, just get out of my apartment. I don't want to be bothered, and you don't have a warrant, so
Uh, okay. I will, uh, I will just mesmerize him.
okay. Mind forcefulness, not to say another word.
It's not mind forcefulness, it's forced mindfulness. It's from Abel, it's not from me.
Okay, yeah. And what do you say? Abel?
Just sit down, calm down, relax, and tell us of those dreams that show you these symbols.
The guy basically just unwraps the wire that's sort of hanging on his side, places the headphones on the table, and says, "All right, look." He sits on the couch. Just some fucking dreams that I have, where I see some real fucking metal shit, like these fucking pitch black spires of rock. Uh, they're usually shaped in these weird symbols, and I just find them fucking badass. So that's what I draw. Okay, that's it. How the fuck does
Okay,
this
but
matter to your investigation?
well, it's people who seem to wear these always kind of end up in a bad way.
Yeah, well,
I
maybe
mean,
they shouldn't
they
pay
look,
me to get these tattoos then.
yeah, in a way, you're the enabler here.
Oh, well, look. I'm not enabling shit. I'm taking inspiration for some designs. I show the designs and people pay me to get those designs. Nothing I'm doing is illegal. I got permits to do what I'm doing.
Well, um, think you should stop doing that. And I will use from it forgetful mind.
Okay. And you're going to make him forget the dreams.
No, I'm just going to make him feel resentment every time he sees these or tries to put them on someone's skin.
Okay.
You need a roll,
Yeah.
I
For
suppose.
forgetful mind.
I mean, with this
Okay.
roll, I can probably make him forget those dreams.
You can rewrite a huge chunk of his life, so yeah. I'd say so. Yeah, just tell me exactly how you want to modify him and to what extent, and yeah.
I mean, I don't want to take away the guy's dreams, but I want him to treat what he sees in these dreams with
Less appeal.
well with like a healthy fear. I mean, kind of like up to the extent that if he tries to replicate those things, it would, you know, send him into terror, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't want to take away the guy's livelihood, so I'm not going to remove his skill of tattooing. But yeah, anything demonic that seems to be appearing to him through his dreams, I'll essentially
Yeah, just
make it, or yeah,
make it
maybe that's even
rouse
better.
some fear when it comes to the execution of it. Yeah.
Fear and like not cool, and he's not going to appreciate the art or the intricacy, he's gonna see it as like childish and a bit scary. So he
Well, you can
doesn't
probably
want to.
what you can probably do in regards to that is make the memories sort of relate to childishness or something. But you can't
Mhm.
actually change his emotional reaction to these things. You can
Okay.
change what he
Okay.
remembers specifically.
And
Um,
also, yeah, I mean, I'll throw in quite a lot of maybe um, discontentment from customers
mhm.
that have received this kind of tattoos and saying that no, this is what I wanted. I wanted a Doom tattoo
Yeah.
or something like that.
Okay. So yeah, the guy sort of as you say, maybe you should stop. He sort of goes, yeah. I mean, sure. Look, can you leave, please? I'm.
Yeah, I'll just take those sketches with you if you really don't mind.
At first, he seems a bit defensive, but then he looks at the sketches and then looks to you and says, yeah, sure. Just, yeah, go on.
Mhm. Cool. Yeah. Thank you for the cooperation, citizen, and well, I hope we don't meet again.
You got it. Um, good night.
Good night.
And as the two of you leave, um, you eventually start reaching the car. And as you enter the car and get ready to leave, at some point you do see the guy um, with essentially the same outfit as he had before, but with a coat now. And he has this bag full of crumpled up paper, and he just goes to the side of the building where there are some dumpsters and just tosses them in with sort of a disgusted look, looking back to it and sort of cursing to himself, and then goes back in.
We
That's
should
some huge
probably
fucking pile.
go go dumpster diving as well.
Yep.
Yeah. You open the dumpster. You find very easily the bag that he just tossed in, and you retrieve it.
I quickly check that it only has papers and not a body in it.
Only paper. It is way too light to have anything of a body. There's no blood, no anything like that. Just crumpled up papers.
Well, I guess that was it. I was hoping that there would be some more flair to the whole story, but
Yeah,
I think we did good.
you know, if the demons are indeed fallen angels, and I suppose God worked in mysterious fucking way.
Well, yeah, well, I hope it doesn't spread, but I have a bad feeling about this anyway.
And as you begin making your way back, as the night sort of draws to a close and you hurry your way back to your haven, eventually you do look. But Abel is busy driving, but Jack, as you look around, to closed shop venues and such, you start to see sort of patterns. Seems like local shops that sell anything that has any amount of like branding.
Mhm.
The symbols they use are very alike when it comes to the demonic symbols you've seen. You sort of start realizing that any local depictions of anything at some point incorporate some symbol that you've seen in the tattoos.
I suppose this neighborhood He's going way deeper than we thought.
Well, if you point
He's
me out
every
this,
fucking where.
if you do point out these, what you've discovered, then Abel will say that this neighborhood is going to hell.
In a what way?
What do you mean?
Like,
What was it? In what way? Or
yeah, in what way? Like,
I
there's
mean,
symbology everywhere.
if this means that there's something else influencing the whole neighborhood, we need to find what's at the center of it.
Yeah.
And
It looks like that will be our mission for another night.
I suppose.
and as you begin leaving the area and returning to your haven, that is the end of the night. We then join. We go back in time a bit, and we join Serena as she finds herself in pitch black darkness, and all she feels is this rhythmic motion of her getting potentially dragged inside a box or something, and she hears a muffled conversation coming from outside, um, saying, "Are you sure this is the one? Do you think this is the person we actually were after?" She was far easier to capture than we thought, and eventually one of them says something along the lines of, "Right, you two, shut up. Look, Gary will want to ask her some questions, and then we'll see what happens, okay?" And then more noises as the box gets dragged through the sewers. And eventually, one of them, the noises of the box getting dragged stop, and one of them says, "Wait, did you hear that?" And after a brief moment of silence, echoes of screeches can be heard as the three voices that were dragging the box around panic. They seem to shout and, bark orders at each other as they seem to pull out their guns. They shoot, and eventually there are some very crunchy, wet noises, and then absolute silence. And then the box starts to get dragged, although this time, instead of it being periodically, it's one smooth motion, and it keeps getting dragged along the sewers. And after a few, maybe an hour and a few minutes, the box gets lifted, moved somewhere, and as it lands, the lid of the box gets pried open, and Cecil looks inside to see Iris. He frowns, pulls the stake out, and just says, "What the hell happened?"
I was ambushed.
"You were not careful, like I told you to be."
Serena looks around. Is she back in Haven? In the
You seem to
sewers?
be in the sewer entrance that leads to the haven.
Serena basically just like starts like closing the hole left behind um by the stake. I was being careful.
Apparently not. And Cecil sort of just stands up and starts walking up the stairs into the main basement level that leads to his room.
Serena just sighs, jumps out of the box, and follows him in. If we're going to have this conversation, I guess it's best not to fucking argue in the sewers. Otherwise, the sewers are just gonna echo down to everyone where the hell this family feud is taking place.
Well, as you get up and sort of look back to the sewer entrance, you see basically one of the appendages from the Vosges as it sort of slithers back in and leaves the entrance closed.
I was being careful.
Clearly not. Were you chasing a fix again?
I fucking wasn't.
You
I
need
was
to
on a
be more
mission.
careful. What if I didn't have someone looking out for you? What would have happened?
Apparently, somebody named Gary, you happen to know who the fuck that is, wanted to have a chat.
The Camarilla is Nosferatu. Primogen wants to have a chat
Oh,
with you.
great. Well, considering the fact that just tonight earlier, the Nosferatu attacked Larry and Titus, probably led by Chuckles. Who
Led
knows
by
how?
Chuckles.
Well, he's clearly implicated in this fucking attack in some way or one way or another.
Is anyone in this pack capable of taking care of themselves? At all?
I am perfectly well capable of taking care of myself.
Clearly not. Why did you get ambushed again?
What the fuck do you mean again?
If it wasn't for my prevention back in the counties, it would have happened again. And now it has happened here, even though I did have someone looking out for you. Would you kindly tell me why you seem so hell-bent on getting captured, tortured, and questioned?
I am definitely not hell-bent on getting captured, tortured, and questioned.
You could have gotten hurt, killed.
You know, it's a danger that we face every night.
Maybe we shouldn't.
Look, first of all, we are part of the Sword. That is part of our mission. Second, doesn't matter if you're in a Camarilla or the Anarchs or like whoever the fuck else or running as an Autarchist. It is a danger of being a fucking Cainite. Are you going to tell me that it's not?
There are things we can do to prevent it. And you
And I
clearly
was.
haven't done
I
it.
was. Thank you for rescuing me. I really am thankful. But I was being careful. And look, I know I'm one step away from being on a red list. There are plenty of other Sword members that are one step or already on the red list. It comes with the mission. You know that.
Then maybe we shouldn't follow the mission so zealously. If it's going to get you killed. I'm not losing more packmates over this.
Serena, like, just like freezes for a moment, looks at him. And she really tries to just like school her face to be like more calm because she's because there is there is a certain level of satisfaction in her right now. But she restrains herself and says, as your pack priest, I really should give you additional lessons, perhaps, about loyalties to the sword, or report you.
After a few moments of pondering what to say, Cecil just looks to the side and then starts heading towards his bed as he checks the clock. Seems to read almost 5 a.m. And he at first sits, takes a deep sigh, and lays with basically completely straight with his arms next to his sides, the usual position he falls into torpor in for the day.
Serena watches him for a bit, then gives a tiny little smile, and gets into bed right next to him. And given the fact that she usually sleeps not in a very straight arm position, basically she gets comfy and uses Cecil a bit as her pillow, leaning her head on his shoulder and draping a leg over him.
Cecil
And
sort of awkwardly looks
and
and
whispers to him, I really should report you, but I won't. And since she is going to fall asleep sooner than him, she probably falls asleep.
and Cecil sort of looks at her and then very awkwardly to the ceiling and just remains still, not really knowing how to react to this. And as the sun rises, that is where we will leave tonight's episode. We hope you enjoyed. And do remember to check out all the links below to the book that's coming out, to Mark's music, he's very talented, and to our YouTube channel. Remember to engage with it. Like, comment, subscribe on those videos. If you're watching this on YouTube, we appreciate you sticking with us this long. And have a good night.